back. Stripe Show podcast on a Tuesday. I'm your host, Travis Fulton. That is Keith Stewart. Read the line. Turf Tuesday. I love the shirt. Keith, I missed you over the last few weeks. I took an extra week, stayed in the Northwest. I appreciate you doing the show while I was gone, but I miss our banter. I miss digging into the stats. I miss going with my gut feeling for the week. We're back at it. How you doing, man?
Man, I tell you, it's been a crazy, crazy month of betting and golf and stories and Congress and everything. I've needed you back in my life to kind of ground me and get me focused on a Tuesday, which is a very busy day at Read the Line. So
yeah,
I couldn't be happier than to have you back, my friend, safely from the great wild Northwest.
Yeah, well, it was great up there. We had some really good weather. We had some hot weather. I was supposed to come back on Monday, last Monday, and about 3 hours before we took off, the flight was canceled, which I know is a common theme across the country right now. The airline industry seems to be broken, but we ended up staying a few more days and finally got back. And it's good to be here in Florida, which, if you're in the 96 degrees, 95% humidity, this is the place to be. But yeah, last week, even on vacation, I found myself kind of itching a little bit. In July, I get a little tired, and I got to get away from some tournament golf, handicapping, and talking about those kinds of things. But the Open Championship kind of draws me back in. And it wasn't much of a tournament, of course. He wins by 6. He was up 5 most of the time. But I found myself, drawing in and watching that golf. And I did the Craig Can show yesterday on Sirius XM, and we were talking. And, we were talking about what was the most impressive thing. And to me, the most impressive thing is when you're sleeping on the lead twice, 5 shots, and you come out and you're still hunting versus being hunted. That's impressive to me because we know how difficult it is to win. And I'm sure we'll talk about it in today's show as we look to the 3M Open. But when you're up 5 and you're sleeping on it twice and you go out and you're still hunting, that's big time.
Well, I tell you, yeah. I mean, there's nothing more impressive than that. At the end of the day, the guy got it done. And everybody wanted to point fingers and say this was going to fall apart and that was going to fall apart. He hadn't won since when and all of that. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, kudos to Brian Harman, man. I'm old enough to know and remember when he was a junior golfer, that guy won everything.
Yeah.
Everything. He beat everybody all the time. I mean, how many guys? So he's the youngest guy ever to be on the Walker Cup team, right? And he's been on 2 Walker Cup teams. I mean, I'm not sure off the top of my head how many guys have been on 2 of those, but it's not many. No. And all that was leading up to him going to Georgia, his home state and everything. And it just kind of, he was almost playing his best golf when he was 18 years old. So it was nice to see that story kind of come full circle, and he got a nice win.
Man, is the Ryder Cup team, could it look any different than the President's Cup team last year? I mean, you come out of last year and with that team and how dominant, and then of course the Ryder Cup team before that in the United States. And you look at, how well DJ was playing and Brooks Koepka's on the team. And, you just start going down the list. And now you look at this year's team. And, of course, you're probably not going to have DJ. You're probably not going to have Bryson. We'll see if we get Brooks Koepka, JT, who knows? He's playing this week. We'll get to him here in a second. But now you got Wyndham Clark way up there. You got Brian Harman way up there. Sam Burns is kind of falling off. So it's like it's a different sense right now for this team. And certainly, I don't know, I don't find myself as bullish and optimistic as I was coming out of those 2. And I was like, man, this U.S. team, focused. A lot has happened since then in professional golf.
I mean, let's not get too out of control here. The top 6 and our top 6 are all very good. The top 6 in Europe, top 6 for us are all very good.
Of course.
Right? World class, no doubt. But when you get to the next 6, there's a pretty far drop off over there on the DP World Tour versus what we're dealing with over here. I mean, Sam Burns won the match play against 63 of the best golfers in the world. So, took down Scotty, right? Took down Rory. I mean,
I like the way Scotty was putting there and, pass. He's not making anything. right now. We need Scotty to start making some damn putts. Because you remember, I mean, when he beat John Rahm 2 years ago, I mean, that's what kind of propelled him forward in that singles match. So I don't want to get too far down the road. We'll have some time to talk about the Ryder Cup. Point being, and your point's valid, the bottom 6. It's just a different look and feel than where we were, say, a year ago, certainly from 2 years ago. All right, 3M Open. We keep the train rolling here as we turn the corner now to the FedEx Cup playoffs, which is the focus of the month of August, right? And that was kind of, when the PGA Tour did their schedule, every major gets a month, and then we're going to finish up in August with this run, the FedEx Cup playoffs, and then you get the Ryder Cup in September, and then off we go with football. But the 3M Open, I'll give you the stage. I've played the course a couple times. I'll go back to my PGA Tour Academy days. We used to have a traveling show, and we would go around all these TPCs. And I got to tell you, Blaine, Minnesota, TPC Twin Cities was one of our favorite spots. They supported us. They love their golf up there. And it's a fun golf course. But when I played it, and I look at the way things have played out with Finau winning last year, Cameron Champ the year before, Michael Thompson, Matthew Wolff, it screams ball striking to me. I got to, give me the long driver off the tee. The ball's going to be flying up there. Give me the approach game. And I'm really going heavy with the ball strikers this week. Am I close?
Well, I tell you, there's one question on my mind for this week, and it's going to keep rearing its ugly head throughout the entire run of the odds board and our whole conversation. Can you take a great putter and have him have a good week, hit the ball well enough, but just make a ton of putts? Or what you just said, is it Gary Woodland's week? Is it a guy like, it's like it's like a comparison between, I don't know, JT Poston and Cam Davis. You got a guy that can just fill up the cup.
Right.
And he, from time to time, Poston can play great, tee to green, but he's always going to fill up the cup. And then you've got Cam Davis, who's a wild card. It's very this whole week is fascinating to me because
it is interesting. Yeah,
it's a very entertaining golf course. What did the original tournament director say? He said he wanted birdies and train wrecks, right? I mean, I believe that's that's like a real quote. That when they first had the tournament, and if you remember, that was Wolff and DeChambeau in a playoff, but then third place was Colin Morikawa. So yeah, I get the length thing with Wolff and DeChambeau, but then Colin's there, and they're both at like 20 under par or whatever it is. So I think this golf course is super entertaining. 15 holes of water in play, 75 bunkers, and you look at the last 4 years, the average pre-tournament winners odds is over 150 to 1. Plus 15,000. Wow. Michael Thompson. I mean, who's walking through that door? Cam Champ, and so I think this week, and we haven't even touched upon the fact that you've got guys like JT there playing for their playoff life.
Yep.
Which nobody would have anticipated months ago. I'm not just talking about JT, but people pay attention. We have recency bias. Well, now all of a sudden the discussion is with 2 weeks to go, these guys are outside the top 70, and you've got like 25 plus guys between 55 and 85 on that list, on that FedEx Cup points list. There's some good names there that have to fight for their life come the fall if they don't get in that top 70. And,
this tournament has lost some guys that went to live. There's no question. As I look at the list here, that some of these live guys that used to play. You mentioned Matthew Wolff. You mentioned Bryson. I mean, DJ's played here a decent amount.
Yeah,
I think over the years. I mean, you look at the winners. I mean, Finau doesn't scream like wonderful putter. Cameron Champ doesn't scream wonderful putter.
Hey, check this though.
Matthew Wolff. I mean, he's a good putter, but he's not like Brian Harmon. So I don't know. I think you bring up some really good points. I tend to lean towards probably Gary Woodland type this week. I'm not betting Gary Woodland, but I need my head above water just a little bit more with the putter. But I think I'm leaning more that way.
I mean, all I've got to say is the year that Cam Champ won, he gained less than a stroke off the tee, and he gained 8.5 with the putter.
Fair point. Yep.
What
Fair
world
point.
are we in? I
Right.
mean, that
And
was like
but that's not Cameron Champ's strength.
that's what I'm saying. You
Yeah,
know, like
exactly. Yeah.
this tournament is extremely entertaining.
Right.
It's
Mhm.
really entertaining. And with all of the drama going on with the playoffs and Ryder Cup and everything else, I think, unlike what we've seen in the past, where, I think before Finau won last year, the average official world golf ranking of the three winners before that was like 663. I mean, we're talking about bombs.
Mhm.
When you and I love to go down the board deep, these guys that were winning were unbelievable. And I think this year there's a lot of focus at the top, and rightfully so. These guys are engaged because they got to get in the top 70, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, this is a fun place, folks. I've been there. I tell you, it's a good course, par 71, just over 7,400. You mentioned 15 holes have water, so you can
Yeah.
have some wrecks out there. But look, these guys are going to have a lot of opportunities too. If they keep it out of the water, they're going to make birdies, bent grass greens, bent grass fairways. I just got off of that. God, I love bent grass. I mean, I love bent grass greens, but I love bent grass fairways. And I got a question to ask. Since when in bent grass fairways do we hit a shot in the divot and it flies out? And usually, I mean, the way I grew up in bent grass fairways, you go back and you put it back and it grows. Now you don't do that anymore. Now you put sand in it, right? Where before you'd go just get it. I mean, that was kind of the cool thing with bent grass fairways is you could just put it back like a puzzle. It just fit perfect. That was fun. And now I'm up there and like, no, don't do that. The birds will pick. You just put, oh, okay. That kind of sucks.
Well, it is Turf Tuesday. So what I'm going to tell you is that I think what it's come down to is that we're always trying to introduce more sand into the soil, and in order to create a better growing surface. And a lot of times that sand has fertilizer and seed in it. It's like a mix. And I think it just comes back quicker on really healthy turf rather than putting that patch there.
All right. Well, there you go. That sucks because I enjoyed that. I enjoyed following my divot and getting it and bringing. I mean, that's like there's a little swag to that,
All right.
and the way all that works. Anyway, you gotta, I guess, grow up on bent grass fairways to appreciate that. Let's get into the board. All of a sudden, Cameron Young is on fire, and he's up there with Sung J M at 16-1, 20 Finau right now. And you got to look around. I'm looking at odds checker right now. But as I look at as we come on, there's three guys at 16. Let's start there. Young, M, and Finau. I'm starting to see a little spark in Mr. Cameron Young. Starting to see a little life in that putter. And, we always got to take someone at the top of the board in short odds. I'm not too keen on Sung Jae right now. Finau, I know, is the defending champ. Back-to-back missed cuts. Just seems to be going through the motions a little bit right now. He's not the same player anywhere close to where he was at this point last year. Man, Cameron Young, he comes out and keeps this thing going with a putter, and he goes +4. Man, he might win by 6.
Wow, man, winning by 6. I don't know if that's going to be a theme on tour these days, but I'm with you. I got to go Cam Young. I mean, Finau, for somebody that won 4 times in whatever it was, less than a year, he seems lost. He's missed 3 of his last 5 cuts and hasn't looked good. Cam Young, if you look back to a year ago, second at the Open, came over, took a week off, went to Detroit, came in second. So there's some history there that he'll stay focused. He'll stay into this. And what he did at the Open was, unfortunately, he didn't win, but man, going into the final round, he was first on approach and first off the tee on a golf course that was that challenging, and yet with that much power he has, there couldn't be a better blueprint for what you're going into here at TPC Twin Cities. Of those 3, I'm with you. Young has to be Young.
I think the biggest difference right now is Finau as a driver. He just seems to be fighting the driver. Not sure what's going on there. I mean, he's got a short swing, and he can. I don't know exactly, he works with Boyd Summerhays, exactly what starts to go astray there. But for whatever reason, I think he's just kind of fighting the driver. It's bleeding a little bit into the iron game. And we know his putter is not exactly the club that he wants to lean on. and try to win a golf tournament. We go down the board here. Hideki, treading water. This is a good place for Emiliano Grillo, who has a couple top threes here at this place. And we know Grillo has won this year playing nice golf. He's at about 25-1, and probably no one playing better right now than Sepp Straka, as he's in there at 25-1 as well. Sepp Straka first at the John Deere, second at the Open. Nobody's making more birdies than Sepp Straka. He keeps that kind of play, keeps it out of the water. Do you like his game here at a TPC Twin Cities?
Well, I'll tell you, this is one of those situations where you have to kind of learn to evolve your PGA Tour golfing brain, right? And what I mean by that is a couple months ago, you asked me a similar question about Corey Connors winning again. And I said, to quote myself, I was like, is Corey Connors the type of guy that's going to win twice in one season on the PGA Tour? And I kind of just said no. I didn't give that much attention.
Right.
But boy, when you look at what Grillo and Sepp Straka could do to this golf course, what Grillo has done, what Sepp Straka could do, a great comp course for this place because of the tragedy you can find off the tee is the Honda Classic. And Sepp's won there. I mean, he's a strokes gained leader there. So, I mean, that guy's an unbelievable ball striker, and he seemed to found his scoring touch. The guy almost pushed 59 out in like 16 holes at the John Deere, which would be another good comp because you got to put the ball in play and you got to get the iron game going, right? Get the putter going. Golly. Sepp Straka winning 2 times on tour and being a beast. I don't know. I don't know if my brain's ready for that. I think I could accept Gary Woodland popping with the putter sooner than I could Sepp Straka winning twice.
Wow.
In 3 weeks.
See, I'd go the other way. I'd go with Straka. Yeah, I'd
go.
I think I would go with Straka over Woodland on that. But let me say this about Emiliano Grillo. We know the dude can get it going ball striking wise, especially with the irons. His weakness is a short game. I mean, he actually lost just under a stroke when he won at Schwab, but his putter was positive 7.4. I'll go on record and say this might be the best Emiliano Grillo's ever putted right now, this stretch.
Oh,
in this calendar year. I mean, he's found something here. I mean, this guy has found something, and his putter, at least this calendar year, is no longer has been a weakness, and he's been riding it out. He was 6th at the Open, Keith. 6th at the Open. We know he won the Schwab. I mean, my goodness, if I had to pick between Grillo and Sepp, I think I would go with Grillo right now at this place. He loves this place. He loves it. I mean, is Grillo going to win twice? You're uncomfortable with Straka. I mean, I can't even believe Emiliano Grillo's going to win twice on the PGA Tour this year.
I mean, both names. I bring them up. Do we live in a world where Emiliano Grillo and Sepp Straka are going to win twice in a year? All right. Do we live in that world? And
I'm not going to bet it. I'm not going to bet it.
No, at that range, I mean, I think they're great placement bets.
Yeah.
Right. I think they're fantastic matchup bets.
Sure.
And the odds will reflect that, folks.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I still think the other guy that's in that range there is lurking. And this golf course is a good fit for him because he can get as hot as anybody, and that's Hideki. Yeah,
that's probably where I would go second. After all that, pumping these guys up, I'm definitely Cameron Young's in my short odds. I don't think I'll bet Hideki, but if I had to go a second short, that's where I would go.
Would you go Hideki or Young?
I'm going to go Young. Yeah.
So you think Young handles the top of the board?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I like where he's coming. He's coming. Cameron Young's coming right now. I mean, he's found something here with the putter, and off he goes. It's time for him. It's time for him to get a damn win. Right?
Yeah.
It's time for him to get. All right. I'm gonna stay with Young on top of the board. But if I had to sprinkle a second up there, I'd go Hideki. Now, let's get to your boy JT. who's down here at 28-1. Can JT break 80 at TPC Twin Cities?
Oh yeah, come on.
I'm just
Come
kidding.
on. Yeah, that's tough love right there, my friend.
All right, now I'm just kidding. I love Jay. You know, look, this is I've had a few DMs about JT and like what's going on, what's wrong. Look, every player goes through struggles. You know, all you got to do is look at his close niche group. You know, you look at Justin Spieth, or excuse me, Jordan Spieth. You know, the 3-year struggle that he went to. You look at Ricky Fowler, the 3-year struggle that he went to. Here's Justin Thomas, right? Is it going to be 3 years? We hope not. I don't think it will be. I don't think JT's going through any like mechanical situation that really perhaps sets him back, like Spieth chasing distance, like Ricky trying to get the club in the body and all this different going back. But with JT, I think what we have a really, really bad putter, that guy that's lost his confidence and now has just trickled right through his bag. And now the rest of the game has started to take on some of that burden. So we saw a few signs at Travelers that he had a nice ball striking week there, at least made a few putts. But he's going to play at Wyndham next week. I mean, he's all systems go right now. He's going to be pressing. You can't bet him to win. I mean, look, can he make the cut? Of course. There's no way you can bet JT to just like all of a sudden reappear and win, can you?
No. It's not even a lengthy conversation. He is all in for that Ryder Cup team,
right?
And he gets it. And I give the guy all the credit in the world for doing that. You know, committing early to Wyndham and saying, I know I need those 3 playoff week, and he'd be lucky if he gets 1 playoff week at this point where he sits in the points. I mean, to get in, he probably needs 2 top 10s to get in the playoffs with everyone else that's playing right now. Mm-hmm. You know, people talk about FedEx Cup points like they're just like they hand them out like Skittles or something, man. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, those things are hard to come by.
Yeah, just ask Akshay Bhatia.
Yeah. You get what, like 70 points for being inside the top 10 and then obviously up the scale. But once you get outside that top 10, you barely get any points. I mean, the guys that are sitting there right around 70 only have 500 points and they played 30 events. You know, I mean, it's tough to get those points when all you do is finish 30th all the time or 40th or miss cuts. Yep. I mean, it just starts to not add up, you know, relatively speaking. So, I mean, I give JT all the credit in the world, but I mean, I didn't even see his name on the board. You know,
you're going to bet Aberg, aren't you?
No.
Okay. Ludwig Aberg, he's at 30-1. Yeah. This dude can drive the ball though. My God.
Oh yeah.
I mean, boy, he is a world-class driver of the ball.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into the board. We're not going to bet JT. We're not going to bet Ludwig. So you got Cam Davis.
What's that?
Go ahead. For
every reason you might want to bet Ludwig, I'm going to bet Cam Davis.
Oh my God, you are?
Yeah.
I can't. This guy, that Cam Davis, drives me nuts.
Well, that's not a reason not to bet him.
Well, it is when you're on the wrong side of him every time.
Well,
I mean, my God, that guy is seriously heads or tails. I mean, there is no in between. Miscut, T6. First page of the leaderboard. Dude shoots 78, 79. Misses a cut. I mean, it's like, what? So why you can bet Cam Davis? What? Give us the insight.
Well, I think, honestly, it comes down to course fit. Okay. Every time he pops, he's on a golf course where he feels like he's comfortable. And every time that he doesn't, he looks like he's lost, well, he just doesn't fit the golf course. But his ball striking ability puts him in a position that if the putter goes like it did at Rocket Mortgage a couple years ago, it's a perfect course fit for him. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I've seen enough of the way that he's hitting the golf ball that I feel pretty good about that. I do.
Right, well, let's see. His driver's been pretty good. He was positive 5.3 at Rocket Mortgage with his approach. He missed the cut at the Scottish Open, didn't play in the Open.
No.
I mean, he's not exactly screaming, you know, Colin Morikawa.
No. Come on. Wait a second. You
I mean,
compare
like,
a guy that has two majors to Cam Davis? Come on, give
I'm
me a
just
break.
saying, no, from a ball striking standpoint, like his driver is, I mean, Ludwig's a better driver of the golf ball.
Okay.
Approach game. I mean, to my point, he goes positive 5.3 at Rocket. Then he just loses his ass there before that 3 or 4. And then it's positive 4.9 at the PGA where he finishes 4th. And he, you know, I mean, here's prime Cam. Positive 4.2 at Wells next week, negative 5.1. Next week, positive 4 point. I mean, it's like plays golf right-handed one week, plays golf left-handed the next.
Might be.
I can't take Cam Davis. All right, you're betting him. I'm not. All right, so
I
we're
am.
moving on. Adam Hadwin. He likes his place. Woodland, Rye, Thagala. All right, here. Let me give you 2 guys. All right.
Yeah. I love this.
Okay, so this is where this course is interesting because it goes
Yeah.
back to what we established at the top of the show. Gary Woodland, you're getting excellent ball striking.
Yep.
Dude can't putt it in the ocean, right? Is it his week?
He's been better than Scotty lately.
Okay, that's true. That's true. So on the other side of it, you got Sahith Theegala. Dude can't drive it in the ocean, but he can putt.
Yep.
Which one you want this week?
Woodland, 100%.
Yeah. All right.
At
So
least I know my guy will make the cut.
Okay.
Right?
No, we're consistent. We're consistent there. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go back to last. I mean, that's the same reason with. I mean, I know I get it. Cam Davis is a little bit more of a wild card, but I also think Cam Davis could win more so than Gary Woodland. And I mean, I think win equity it plays a part. I mean, Sahith Theegala is like a Shakespeare tragedy, man. I mean, as good as that guy putts it, and as much momentum and crowd attention that guy gets, he always lets you down. It's like Macbeth on steroids. It breaks your heart. It does. It's one of those things like going into last year, all we could talk about was Sahith going into this event.
Yeah.
Sahith, right? Yep. Sahith, however you want to say it. That's all we talked about. And the guy flat out missed a cut. He was irrelevant. Yep. So, obviously phenomenal player, but he hasn't figured out
He's got to figure out his driver.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's not
going to maintain out there. He's got to get something ironed out with his driver. I don't know if he does in this offseason or what it is, but yeah, he's too good. He's good around the greens. He's an excellent putter. I think his iron game can shine, but the driver, he's playing defense too much. I mean, I don't think I'm going to bet either one of them. I'm not sure if I'm going to bet anybody other than Cameron Young.
Single bullet
at this point. No, I got a couple names down here.
Right.
I'm going to sprinkle some on. I mean, Aaron Rye pops, right? I mean, he looks shiny, but can he win?
He win on Thursday.
He can win on Thursday. Yeah, that's right. He can win on Thursday.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just mention some names. Stop me if you like it. Jaeger. Poston.
Great DFS play, Jaeger, but not a winner. Not yet.
Poston.
Oh,
so you're gonna go with putter now? You can go with maybe? Well, you didn't stop me. I just thought you must. You didn't stop.
Yeah, no. I JT's on my radar. Definitely on my radar.
Okay, all right.
Definitely on my radar because if you look back over his last couple of starts, he was solid at the Deer. He was pretty good at the Open, right? And so JT, where he wasn't doing anything in the spring, look at the numbers. He's been tracking lately in the ball striking category, and we know he can putt.
Yeah.
So he's definitely one of those guys with a good course fit. He's got a couple top 20s there, I think, in 3 starts. So
top 10s, 6 at the Deer, 6 at the Genesis.
But at the 3M, he's got 3 top 30s.
Oh, I'm sorry, talking 3M. Yeah.
So
41st at the Open. Well, he was 41st at the Open.
Yeah. But I got to spend more time on him. But don't be surprised if you read the line and you're reading about JT. I mean, and I get it.
Keith Mitchell,
ball striker's paradise, but at the same time, I think his ball striking is coming around. I think he's in that 6-week window where JT is he's gonna pop a little bit, and as a result, you're gonna see him contend a little bit and do his thing.
All right, here's two shiny guys at 50, 55 to 1. Two guys that are going to get some attention this week. Lucas Glover, we know, can strike his golf ball. And speaking of finding something with putting, Lucas Glover has found something here, folks. He's starting to putt better. And Austin Eckroat coming in, playing very good golf. Any of those, the vet, Glover, the rook, Eckroat, or the youngster, Eckroat, any of interest in the 50 to 55 range. Lucas Glover's going to win. Is that you're telling me? I mean, Lucas Glover can make enough putts to win the 3M Open. That'd be a pretty cool story, though, right? Wouldn't it?
I like Glover.
Huh?
I think Eckroat still probably needs to be a little bit more seasoned on tour.
Yeah.
Similar to Ludwig, but I like Glover. I do like Glover this week.
You like Glover to win?
In a lot of ways, he just really fits that golf course.
Yeah.
And if the putter is just average for him, going back, two of the guys that won there, Tony and Wolf, gained less than a stroke with their putter. And they ball strike the heck out of the place.
Yep.
So there's two paths at this golf course of which I'm trying to cover when I start to look at my card. There have been guys that have gained over 7 strokes with the putter. Thompson one, Champ the other. Maybe that's a Poston route. Maybe we deliver that way. And then on the other side, you've got Wolf and Finau. I mean, Finau gained over 16 strokes tee to green last year, and he had less than a stroke with the putter.
Yeah.
I could see Lucas Glover doing that.
Yeah. That's why I would pick Glover. And like I said at the top of the board, I said I'm going to go with the ball striker, and I'm going to play him. I'm going to play Glover.
I mean, not to mention like Glover or Woodland, right? I can get an extra $1,000 on Glover.
Yeah, I'm going to play Glover. That's going to be my second pick. I agree on Eckroat. Now we're getting into the Hostler, Eric Cole, JJ Spahn, Nikolai Hogard. So Ryan Fox interests you at all?
Very much so.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Okay.
He's like with Poston there. Fox definitely interests me. He's someone to pay attention to there for sure.
He does me too. Yeah.
Definitely. But to go back, you're talking about like guys like Eckroat, right? I want to bring up Eric Cole.
All right.
Again, great comp, the Honda. Guy lost in a playoff. The guy keeps his ball in play, and he can pop with the irons. We all know he can putt. It's a good spot for him. But if you start to look at Eric Cole up there on your magic Ouija board, right? Week after week after week, it just doesn't really like get you there, right? They're all like 20s and 30s and 40s in the finishes. And you got to be careful of those guys. You have to have somebody. We're talking about winners here, right?
Yeah, right.
We always say that. You got to have somebody that can show you that they can win, right? And I get that Cam Young has like 600 runner-ups and like 500 top fives in his like short career. But that guy,
he's going to win though. He
looks like he can win just like Will looked like he could win Zalatoris a year ago, right? It just seemed inevitable, right? To me, it doesn't seem inevitable yet for Eckroat or Ludwig.
Or Cole.
Right? We could get there. I'm not sure. I mean, Cole, talent-wise, is probably a step below those two guys, and I don't know.
Agreed. Yeah.
So, I want people to be careful about when all these names start to pop up online all the time, right? Just look at, can that guy actually win?
Mm-hmm.
Can he do what Brian Harman did? And I'm not saying win by 6, but could you sleep on the lead at least once and pull it off? Because that's all of the content you're going to hear this week. It's most impressive when they get other tour pros on, especially all the Georgia Bulldogs and the PGA Tour, Georgia Mafia, right? They're all going to be congratulating him. They're going to be like, hey, to sleep on the lead twice and pull that thing off, that's super impressive.
Right.
And at the end of the day, when you're looking in this range, JJ Spahn, the guy won.
Yep.
Right? Ryan Fox, he's a winner. So just those are things that cross my mind as I go through this process.
I think Fox is the most of interest to me in that little stretch we just talked about. Mark Hubbard is going to get some play.
Sure.
And, Patrick Rogers is going to look shiny, but it goes back to, can he win? And look, it's the Barracuda last week, and you're playing in a glorified Korn Ferry Tour event, and that was your tournament to win. And you look tight, and you didn't get it done on the final day, and that's kind of been his MO. And now he's going to come into a stronger field and win here. He's going to Patrick Rogers playing good golf right now.
Yeah.
Is probably going to come in and finish in the top 20. But is Patrick Rogers going to sleep on a 2-shot lead and come out and put this thing away on a Sunday? Whew, man,
I mean, did Scott Piercy do it last year?
No.
It's hard.
Yeah, it is.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Scott Piercy shot 41 on the final 9 and said, "Hey, Tony, here. I don't know if it's your birthday, but here's a gift."
Hey, the last time we saw Vincent Norman, he won. He's a 70.
Okay. I'll give you Sepp Straka could win twice in a season. Is it going to be Vincent Norman? Let's move on. Come on.
Pendrith playing pretty good. Cameron Champ, he's won. That's all he does win. If Cameron Champ gets on the first page, that dude can win.
Yeah, him and Jim Herman. Watch out.
Yeah. Hago's won once.
Yeah. Hago's can go deep.
Hago's bouncing around a little bit. Hago's bouncing around a little bit right now with teachers, I think. I don't know what's going on there. He's kind of running the.
He's also, let me look real quick. He's also bouncing around that 70 number. He's sitting there right at 78, right below number 77, which is Cam Davis. And I'm telling you, those guys between 80 and 71 have a real chance to get in, and they are going to be hungry. They are going to be trying like it's a major. And, JT's not going to be grinding this week. He's not going to be grinding for the next 2 weeks. So,
I can't believe this is going to come out of my mouth, but I'm going to say it.
Here we go.
I'm betting Doug Gim.
Oh.
And the reason is I think Doug Gim's kind of found something with his putter.
If you could take those two names that are right next to one another on the board and combine them, Gim and Suh, you'd have one heck of a golfer. Let me tell you something. Because Suh can roll the rock and Gim can hit it. But,
Hey, you look right now. This is the best Doug Gim has played since turning pro right now. Now, He missed the cut at the Scottish. I'm willing to look past that. But you look at the last 6 events. Doug Gim is gaining confidence, folks.
Yep.
Doug Gim is gaining confidence. So I had Doug Gim circled. I can't believe I just said that. I've been away from it because look, when you do this, you fall in love with ball strikers. And look, I'm staying consistent with what I said at the top of the show. And so at least this time with Doug and Lucas, they're trending at least. I can see the top of their head at least sticking out of the water when it comes to the putter. You're not just completely rolling the dice coming off of 7 straight weeks of losing strokes. And so you look at Doug, he's had a couple really good putting weeks in there, and his ball striking, I don't worry about his driver. I don't worry about his irons. His short game's fine. All right. So I'm going, I'm not going to talk myself. I'm going Doug. I'm going Lucas. My God, my card looks weird right now. Lucas can win. We know that. Doug hasn't yet, but that's right. I'm staying right there. Brian Harman won by 6 last week, folks. Give me a break. It's interesting though with Harman, you could see, and I was talking with Craig about this yesterday. You look at the way Brian Harman was trending with his irons. He's found something. Like his iron game is really starting to propel, and it just carried over. It was ball striking exhibition, but it was exhibition. It was a putting exhibition, putting damn clinic. Never seen anything like that. Yeah. But his iron game has been very good too. All right, here we are. Suh, Hodges, Adams, Fenton. We're gonna get another Canadian win. Seems like, Alex Noren. Kind of like Sig. I don't know. Maybe not. man, I don't know. I'm kind of, he's interesting to me. Bezuidenhout. Kevin Yu.
You're going to hear a lot of talk about you.
Yeah.
Great off the tee.
Yep.
No putter. I mean, if this is a no putt week, he fits your mold for the week. There's only so many non-putters I can take.
Right.
On a betting card, which is
I got
probably
three of
why.
them.
What's that?
I got 3 of them.
Yeah, and that's probably why I keep talking about JT Poston. My brain just can't handle it. It's like, how do you expect to win if not one guy on your card can putt?
Now wait a minute. The last time we saw Kevin Yu in the United States was at the John Deere, and he gained 7.9. So watch your mouth. He gains. Then he went over to the Scottish Open and missed it. But
Yeah.
I don't put a lot of stock in it. I don't think Kevin Yu can win here. I'm not betting Kevin Yu. Kuchar, he can putt. Maybe I should bet Kuch. Right?
Kuchar brings up an interesting point. Same thing with Palmer and a couple of these guys down here.
Yeah, Palmer.
As you know, Blaine, Minnesota sits at 1,000 feet of elevation. Right? So that's going to add about 2% to ball flight. And it's supposed to be 90s this week. So if you haven't looked at the weather yet, folks, it's going to be hot and humid up there. Chance of rain, etc. That probably won't bother Cam Young or any of the 18 guys that are coming over from the Open. But you could probably take about 4% off of that 7,400 yards. And now you're talking about a 7,100 yard golf course with a bunch of par 5s and some scoreable par 4s in that 350 to 400 range. Man, oh man. I mean, you start to open up a wealth of people that could really fit in there. And that's interesting to me.
What happened to our boy Tom Hoagie?
I don't know. Maybe it's like hangover from the college football championship or something. He hasn't been the same since.
Yeah, he's just struggling right now.
Yeah.
Struggling. Like JT struggle.
Yeah. He sets the course record at the Players. And then have we heard of Tom Hoagie since?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Brandon,
I remember that Players top 10 because it had Hatton, Hovland, Hoagie, Hideki. There was like all these H's in there. It's crazy.
So I like to build these models, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. As the case with any model.
All right.
And so we take some of the key stats, some of the key ranges that you're going to see into these greens, 150, 175.
Yep.
Who likes to make birdies, opportunities gained, some of the key stats, kind of weighted out. You can imagine ball striking. Last 12 rounds coming in. Who's playing the best golf? Weigh all this out. Lucas Glover, number 1.
Yeah.
Aaron Ride, number 2. Not that.
Yeah.
Rye's a ball striker, man. Aaron Ride is a ball striker.
Well, okay. Did you put any sort of short game or putting into that model?
I mean, it's a little bit. It's not. Look at now. Wait a minute. Aaron Rye short game's been pretty damn good too. Look, we're not giving Aaron Rye enough credit right now. As far as statistics. Okay, now can he win? Let's see. But
he's won.
We're getting to a name. Oh yeah, yes he has. We're getting to a name. Ches Reavie.
Winner.
Number 3. He's number 3. You know who's number 4? Sig.
I got to check that model right there. The first 3 I'm okay with to a certain degree.
Sig is number 4 coming in.
Hey. Wait, hang on. Time out.
Yeah. Last 12 rounds. It's a short sample size. Last 12 rounds.
All right. Well, we got to talk about this for a second. You mean to tell me that in the first 4 names on your model, you've got Glover, then who? Rye?
Yeah. Pull up Glover, Rye, Reavie, and Sig. What am I missing here?
Young, Hideki. I don't know.
Last 3 rounds. Last 12 rounds. That's what it says.
Straka?
Yeah. How come Sep's? Well, the reason for Sep is because we don't get the statistics from the Open.
But he won the John Deere.
I know, but that was only 4 rounds. Sep's down here. Let's see. I'll pull up Sep.
I might want to throw in
10th.
the Open.
Sep is 10th right now on that.
Okay.
because he's got a few rounds in there before that. Now, obviously, every model's flawed, and we know Sepp's playing well.
Yeah.
And these 12 rounds could have happened at certain times, right? But point being, we know Glover's a ball striking machine. Aaron Wright doesn't get enough credit for his ball striking. We know Reevy's playing pretty good. You pull up Grayson Sig right now, okay? And you look at his last 4 tournaments from June into July, his iron game has been terrific. His driver, I think, is trending positive, 2.5 there at John Deere. Short game. Don't worry about it with Sig. You could put Sig on the no putt list probably too, at time to time, but his putter has been pretty good as of late. I don't know. It's a long shot. I mean, it's a long shot. That's why he's down there at 100-1. I'm trying to find an angle right now with Sig.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna sprinkle a little on Sig just because I can. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit on Sig. Yep, okay. I am. I've talked myself into it. Right now he's 100-1. Why not? I'm not betting Hoagie. Ches Reavie, 110. KH Lee, he plays TPCs pretty well. 110. Nick Hardy. Taylor Montgomery. Man, what happened to our boy Montgomery? He's fallen off, hasn't he? Ben Griffin. Davis Thompson.
Yeah.
Davis Thompson, 125. We just keep this Bulldog thing going.
Davis Thompson's interesting. He's interesting to me. I watched him at Wyndham closely, and not at Wyndham. I'm sorry, at Wells, because he was playing with Wyndham, and I don't know. Kind of
disappointed.
Kind of blew my mind. He doesn't play better.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed with Davis. I think in his play this year.
Kind of blows my mind. He doesn't play a little better.
Yeah, especially as good of a driver as he is. Yeah, he's been. I expected a little more from him. Naismith kind of fallen off the earth, 125.
Yeah.
What about Peter Quest?
I mean, there's.
I like making you uncomfortable with some of these names.
Come on.
Last 75 rounds, I pulled up the same model. You know, get a little bigger sample size. There's Finau, Matsuyama, M. Davis. God, Cameron Davis is 4. Gary Woodland.
Wait. Who is it for again?
Cameron Davis.
Just kidding. That. I know. I'm telling you, it could be over on Friday, and that might be a good thing, because if he takes you all the way to Sunday, I mean, it could kill you even more. But Cam Davis is a prototype player for this type of TPC golf course.
Mm-hmm.
And the putter just has to be reasonable.
All right, now we're down in the weeds. Give me some names here. Anybody that Sam Bennett. Dylan Wu. Make birdies.
Dylan Wu, yeah. How about Ryan Gerard? He's been impressive on ball
one different golf swing right there. That is one unique golf course or golf swing.
Yeah, Ryan those Gerard. Are the guys you worry about, because if he made it that far with that kind of golf swing and never changed it, because everybody would have wanted to change it. All the instructors would have tried to change it on him, and he's made it that far. Like Jim Furyk, who ever thought that guy would have shot below 60 twice on the PGA Tour, right? So I don't know. You get down in that bomb range. I want a guy that really owns it. Mm-hmm. He definitely owns it. But it's a stretch. Mm-hmm. I mean, Joel Damon's looked reasonable lately. He's won before. He had a bad stretch there around Travelers, but his last couple starts, he's playing a little better. There's a guy that wants to be in the top 70. He wants to be in the FedEx Cup playoffs. I doubt he cares about Netflix shows. That's where he wants to be. He wants to be in that top 70. And he's down there in that bomb range, and he's won.
Okay, so here's a name for you.
Go.
I was going to say, Stuart Sink. He's an Open champ. He's won before, multiple times on the PGA Tour. speaking of falling off, Billy Horschel's 250 to 1.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah. If you go put up his strokes gain charts, you're going to need a tourniquet. This thing's going to bleed all over your screen. Not good.
250 to 1. My goodness. Wow. I mean, that's JT falling off. I mean, JT, Tom Hoagie, Billy Horschel. There's 3 guys that are just struggling right now, big time. Harry Hall. I know that one. I knew you wouldn't even make even a comment on that one. Chad Ramey will keep it in front of him off the tee. Yeah, Damon's down there at 250. He played well at the Barracuda. It was good to see him finally show some signs.
Yeah. I spent some time with him in Connecticut, and he's focused on the task at hand, and he's good at keeping his golf ball in play. And I like what he had to say. He and Gino, they're focused. They want to be in the playoffs. None of these guys want to go back out in the fall and have to fight for that 70 to 125 spot. So
it's such a hard game, though, just to turn on. I mean, it just, it's like, I mean, JT's been grinding, and so all of a sudden you're gonna try harder, and you're gonna turn it on. I mean, yeah, Kevin Yu, as we look down into these longer odds, we'll get some play. I'm sure Trevor Cohn can strike his ball. He gets a lot of looks.
Hey, I mean, you could go down that list all day. For me, it's going to be one of these guys in that 60 to 80 range on the FedEx Cup points list that's fighting their way to getting to the playoffs.
Where's Akshay at? Why am I not seeing him?
His odds?
Yeah. He's in the field.
He is.
How come I'm not seeing his name for some reason? Akshay Patia wins last week. I tell you, that was impressive. Yeah. That's a guy that was in the final group with John Rahm down in Mexico. It's a guy that turns pro before he turned 21, right?
Oh, he never went to college.
Never went to college. And his girlfriend's his caddy. I was like,
he met his girlfriend on Instagram she slid into his DMs. Huh.
And here they are out there on the Corn Ferry Tour. I'm just thinking, what the hell is this guy doing? Right? I mean, it's the big leagues. And he goes out there, wins Corn Ferry Tour event with his girlfriend on the back.
Yeah.
And he comes up to the PGA Tours. He's playing with John Rahm. Looks like he's been there for 10 years. And he gets in there with Patrick Rogers coming backwards a little bit, and he gets in there in the playoff and gets his PGA Tour win. I mean, it's pretty impressive. It really is. And I would say, I would have to think 90% of people were like, man, I don't know. God, this feels like a big ask, right? Maybe you should go to college. You know what? Your girlfriend you just met's going to caddy for you? What?
Akshay withdrew.
He did.
Yep.
Akshay withdrew.
Right. Yep. So Lingmerth is out. Oh, Luke List. There's a ball striking bomb for you.
I can't. My card would explode with the no putt.
Could you imagine putting Glover and Luke List on the same card? Oh man.
Doug Gim.
Oh.
Man.
I mean, Doug Gim would find you and call you up and say, "What are you doing to me?" Including me with those two guys. You got to be kidding me. Yeah, Akshay's out.
I think I'm going to sprinkle Ryan Fox.
The first time I saw Akshay live, and this was when he was taking lessons from Gigi, right?
Yeah.
And he was this big, wild, swashbuckling lefty, and that everybody thought was the lead singer of the Digital Underground's kid. And, he was at the 2017 Junior President's Cup at Plainfield Country Club up here in New Jersey. And I'm like, who is this kid? And then I watched him hit it, and I was like, whoa, this kid's impressive.
Yeah.
Of course, being lefty catches your eye, but It was pretty cool. And hey, credit to him. He's been a phenom ever since. So, I mean,
he's exciting. His upside is exciting. I'm very excited about. I was excited about Taylor Montgomery coming out and the way that he can bomb it and his putter and like it just hasn't. We'll see if he can recapture it. And I was excited for Thompson Davis too. I thought his driver would be a really strong weapon for him, and they've both kind of fizzled out just a little bit. Obviously excited about Ludwig. I had him on the podcast right before he turned pro. And so I've always been super excited about him. I think he's got some big upside. And then Akshay, I think you got to put in there too. Ludwig, Akshay, those are two guys that could mature into very relevant PGA Tour players. I mean, Akshay's got some swag to him. He's just he's cool. He's got some swag to him. How about those two lefties winning last week? Brian Harmon, 5'7", $145 or $155. And Akshay, what is he, 6'1", 6'2", $145.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't even get to 300 pounds between the two of them.
He probably hits it 20 by Harmon too, Crazy.
All right. Good to be back. Stripe Show, 3M Open. What do we got next week? Wyndham, and then we roll right into the playoffs. We'll have you all here. Keith Stewart, read the line. Check it out. See you next week.